Should you play Demon's Tilt? That is the question I'll be answering today based on my experience with the game on Xbox Game Pass PC. I played that for a little while and I had a lot of fun, but what is Demon's Tilt? It is a challenging pinball game, and that's basically the answer to your question. Are you going to enjoy a pinball experience that's less about leisure, fun, relaxing time in a digital environment, but more of a, it's hard, it's tough. Can you figure out the lanes and so forth? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go through a couple of pros and cons about this experience that I had, and hopefully it's going to help you. So I guess the first pro is it's freaking pinball. It's pinball. Do you like pinball? At the very nature of it, it's that addicting gameplay in which you control two bumpers and you have to hit a ball around a table, a screen, because this is a digital version. So you're just lobbing that ball all over the place, trying to find different areas that you can go into in order to get more, more score, high score. It's definitely geared towards the high score mindset of, can your run this time be just a little bit better than last time? Can you get that 1,000,000 points? Can you top the leaderboard, or can you top your own high score? Do you love that? If you do, you will find it in here, in spades actually. However, like I said at the start, as this could be a con if you're not a huge into challenge. It's hard. It's very difficult in order to get into the groove and figure it out. But there is different difficulty levels that you can change. You can start on easier, get a little bit harder if you want to. But just overall, it's a bit tough, especially how the bumpers are laid out. The entire table is separated into 3 separate parts, and the more you go down, it always feels harder to get back up. So if you stay in the middle, pocket, or the top one, it should be a better playing experience. But once you get down to that bottom part of the table, that bottom third, it's definitely a lot harder to make your way back up. And that's just how the table's built. So just remember that as you jump into this. But, a definite pro, at least for me, I love the visual and audio experience. I've never seen a pinball game like this. Usually if it's a digital pinball experience, it's going to be a little bit more, what's it called, designed after a actual table, but with like video game elements. But this one really, this is a video game, and we're living in a video game world. It's really beautiful pixel art. It's one table for the standard difficulty. It just has this fantastical, dark sci-fi fantasy kind of elements to it, because there's bosses. There's bosses in each of the 3 areas on this table, and you actively fight them. So there's this like shoot 'em up kind of vibe to it, this action vibe to playing in each 3 of parts of the table where you're fighting bosses. And as you deal damage, and by damage, as you hit these different boss-like characters, you'll start seeing that the characters take damage. Like you can see visible parts. Like in the top part, there's this ultimate boss creature up there, right? Kind of looks like, I think, a chimera. But it's locked up, and as you deal damage to it, it's like the metal face mask thing comes down, and you start seeing this creature behind it, and you're like, holy crap. And while at the same time you're getting point speed, it is a pinball game. So there are things to do, and that visual element and the aesthetic, and then this nice soundtrack really creates this epic feel to a pinball experience. And a unique one at that, too. The only other kind of pinball game that I can remember that really gave me the same kind of feeling was Sonic Spinball back on the Sega Genesis, way long ago in the 90s. And, I played the Zen Pinballs, Pinball FX, and, the pinball for NES. So I played various different kind of pinball games over the years, but definitely Demon's Tilt has a very unique flavor to it. But if, with that little uniqueness, you might want a little bit of sprinkles on top, right? You will kind of want a tutorial or be taught what to do. But this game, as a con, is very vague. Like if you love jumping in and figuring out everything yourself, then here it is. Demon's Tilt for you, because you only really have one page that kind of roughly explains what you have to do, but not really. It just says like, hit the boss in the middle, just to hit her and deal damage, hit the boss up top, and that's it. But to figure out what lanes to go in to unlock things, how to, start the different events on the table happening, that isn't really explained all that well. So you're definitely going to have to do a lot, either going online in order to figure out what everything means, or just like what I did. I just played for hours, just trial and error, figure out, oh, that's what that does. And oh, if I go through that lane, that's going to highlight this thing over here. Oh, wow, there's little like coffins on the screen that I can do. Or man, if I defeat the boss in the middle, and so forth. It's like, it's very vague in the explanation, but then it's also there's satisfaction to figuring it out yourself. So that's both a pro and a con, as all these are, depending upon what you want from your pinball experience. And I think finally, this is definitely a pro: responsive controls. Again, I played this on Xbox Game Pass PC. I play with a wired Xbox 360 controller as well as the keyboard itself, and both play really well, and it felt smooth, fast, no lag, anything like that. Whenever I press the button on the gamepad or the keyboard, the paddles will move instantaneously. That ball goes everywhere where it needs to be, and there wasn't any glitches or anything that I experienced in my hours of playtime. So all I can say is, as far as the technical level, it worked well, and as far as the controls, they're pretty cool. Like, they are what you ask for from a pinball game. You can also nudge the screen, like shake the table. That worked well too. So I have all praise for the controls, and that is not going to be a limiting factor when you jump into this, nor will the lack of challenge. If you're looking for it, you're going to find it in here. So I really do hope that this kind of quick should you play overview of Demon's Tilt is enough to help you figure out if you want to jump in and play this game, purchase it, have what you will with this game. And yeah, I've enjoyed it. Again, I played various pinball games in the past, and I can see myself coming back to this one when I want something that's more of a challenge. But definitely, if I have any kind of pinball experience that I will jump back into on the regular, it's going to be those Zen Pinball, Pinball FX games. Those are more up my alley, and I can just jump into and have more of a leisurely time. And if I ever want to jump into a more action-oriented pinball experience, then Demon's Tilt is definitely going to get my playtime. I hope this helped you. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about Demon's Tilt in the comments. Have you played it? Do you have any tips for it? Do you have tips for everyone else out there that may be reading your comment? Please leave it. I would love it. I love the interaction. I love communicating. As always, thanks for joining the party. Thanks for listening to me ramble, and I will see you in the next exciting video.